Welcome back to another Warhammer the Old World Battle Report. Today I'll be playing a Bretonnian Exiles army against a Night Goblin army. I said after my last Bretonnian video that I wasn't going to play Bretonnians anymore, but this is an Exiles army, so it's different. So, what I've taken here is two barons. I have my general is a baron on Royal Pegasus with Virtue of Heroism, and then the Gromwell Greathelm and the Lucky Talisman, or I think it's called. It gives them a reroll. And then another baron with the Frontier Axe and Syrian's Locket. And then a Outcast Wizard level 3 right here on Battle Magic with the Ruby Ring and you know what? Oh, and the icon of Quenelle, so he can dispel 3 inches further. And then in this unit was a Paladin Battle Standard Bearer with the Falcon Horn that I never bothered to blow because my opponent didn't have any flying other than a Doom Diver, and it doesn't work on that. So then in core, I had a unit of 5 mounted yeomen, a big unit of 25 yeoman guard with the war banner, 2 units of 10 peasant skirmishers, and then 2 units of 5 foot knights. In special is 1 unit of 3 Pegasus Knights with the Vanguard banner, and then 2 Bombards in rare, and 2 units of 10 Brigands with blunderbusses. So the sort of thought behind this list is it's has a fair amount of range firepower with the 2 cannons, 20 bow shots, and then the blunderbusses, especially if they can scout behind the opponent, can put out a lot of shots. And then just the 1 unit of Pegasus Knights to Vanguard forward if I want, or they can just hang back as a countercharge option. The Yeoman Brick has 7 combat resolutions, so it and 2 champions and then a character. If a dragon wants to charge it, it can hang out there on the challenge for a while and let the Pegasus Knights come in and bail them out. Is the thought. And my thought was the Foot Knights can support this unit and act as countercharges when things tried to get close to my gun line, and then I deployed them far away from my gun line and the yeoman brick. So that wasn't the plan. I didn't stick to my plan, I guess. So my opponent's army, he had two big bricks of Night Goblins. 1 of, I think, 55 with bows and the poison banner, and then a unit of maybe 40 with spears. They both have 3 fanatics in them. There's a level 4 wizard in this one, and a battle standard bearer, or a level 4 wizard in this one. Maybe the battle standard bearer is in this one. I'm not sure. I think the battle standard bearer is in the shooting unit. So yeah, they're good. Both his level 4s were on Wog Magic. Looking for Evil Sunshine for reroll 1s to hit and an AP of 1. Then he had a War Boss, or I don't know, the big Night Goblin boss on a giant cave swig in a unit of 10 squig hoppers, and they were in open order formation, which they can do, but people normally don't. But he wanted to try out sort of a Night Goblin cavalry unit. Then he had 4 bolt throwers, which are the empty bases, 1 Doom Diver in the back, another big squig herd unit, and then another small unit of squig hoppers. So turn or pre-turn 1, I vanguarded the Pegasus forward. I thought about not, but then I figured, why just get into it, see how they do. I wasn't too scared of this unit. I figured that even if they did get first turn, then roll high and charge me, that I had a good chance of surviving it with the 2 characters in there. Oh, and then there was a single river troll back here. So I vanguarded forward and just looking at a little bit closer. And what happened was the orcs and goblins got first turn. This unit didn't roll high enough to be able to make the charge, so they backed up out of my charge range. He put down 2 foots of Gork. The bolt throwers shot into the Pegasus Knights and killed 2 of them. He did get Evil Sun Shining up, so they're AP 4. So they just, and hitting on, I was in half range, I think, so hitting on 4s, rerolling once. And then wounding on 2s with no armor save, and then because I'm exiles, I don't have the Blessing of the Lady. His fast stuff, or not fast, but the squigs moved forward on the flanks, and that was pretty much it. Oh, I think the big block shot into this little unit of brigands and killed 4 of them. So on my turn then, I shot down a few squig hoppers. I moved over and shot some squig herds. Sort of on the edge of their charge range there, I moved up the knights, thinking that after these guys fight, then the knights can maybe charge in, or if he fails his charge, then the knights can maybe get a charge into the squig hoppers and the brigands can get out of the way. I moved my yeoman up on the flank, shooting. I was trying to bounce shots through this bolt thrower and into the Doom Diver, and didn't manage to hit the Doom Diver, but I did take out one of the bolt throwers. Over here, I didn't have anything to charge with my Peg Knights, so I sort of moved them up a bit, where they were, again, sort of, he could try and make a long charge, but if he didn't make it, I was then had some good choices to charge. But then I also, so that was the contingency plan, but my main plan was that they were within 15 inches of my wizard, who cast Arcane Urgency on them, and then I moved the 20 inches into this back corner out of his charge arc, and just giving me options to charge lots of different things. So the squigs decided they didn't roll very high on their random move, so they just decided to run forward a bit. The war boss on Giant Squig left the unit, so he was now a skirmisher, which gave him some more flexibility. He turned his archers around, or the spears around, to potentially take a front charge, and then he cast Foot of Gork that let me think about this for a second. Maybe this is after, this would have been, I guess, after we resolved the template moving at the start of turn plays, because the template, oh no, that's not true. Yeah, I think it is. I think the template moved through and killed off the other 2 Peg Knights, and potentially some shooting from the bolt thrower also went into it. But elsewhere, these hoppers didn't roll high enough to get into combat, so they just sort of ran sideways. The big shooting unit shot into some brigands. This squig hopper unit made the charge into the brigands. The other brigand unit that had, I think, Itchy Nuisance and Bad Moon on them, so they were minus D3 to their weapon skill, minus D3 to their toughness, and minus 2D3 to their initiative. And I killed a few on the stand and shoot, but then they got munched, and then he rolled high enough on his overrun to get the squig herd into my foot knights, which is too bad because now I don't get to Furious Charge. So on my turn, I put the. Okay, so he released his fanatics. Let's see if I have a better picture of this one. Um, so he released his fanatics over here. I put the yeoman into the front of the Squigherd and both Pegasuses into the back. So they were sort of around here. These two fanatics just didn't make it to the my barons, but this one rolled an 11 and did, and then he popped through both of them and did. I've hidden the dice husbands in here, but this guy was down to 1 wound, and this baron took 1 wound. So the Frontier Axe Baron was down, lost 3 wounds, and was down to 1. And then we wiped out the unit. They overran, flew over top of the yeoman, but rolled. I think they both rolled 6 or something. Not very well. So they just got over the yeoman, and what I really want to do is get some distance from everything, really, like from the troll, from the skirmishing giant cave squig, and the fanatics, and that didn't happen. I ended up sort of just behind this unit, and it's now right. If the fanatics come this way, they're going to bounce through the yeoman and into my characters. But elsewhere, I moved the yeoman forward a little bit. The archers and the brigands. Oh, I guess they're still. I think they shot at some more squig hoppers. The cannons did a wound, I think, to a bolt thrower. No, cannons must have just missed. And I think some shooting, maybe from these archers, did a wound to the bolt thrower. This combat, one knight survived and used stubborn to fall back, but it's not in a great spot. So over here, what happened was this fanatic, one of the fanatics went through the yeoman, and the one duke that only had one baron, Frontier Axe Baron, with knightly temper. So killed him. He died. What happened? The troll declared a charge on the yeoman, who fled back through the barons and ended up over here. But then the troll and the giant cave squig went into the my general, the baron with virtue of heroism, and I issued a challenge, and I had Itchy Nuisance cast on me, so I was minus D3 toughness and minus D3 initiative, and which meant that the cave squig got to go first. It maybe would anyways, even without Itchy Nuisance, but he managed to get the killing blow with his cave squig, so it jumped up and chomped the baron right off the top of his Royal Pegasus. And I did now have the Blessing of the Lady after overrunning on the unit, but 1/5 of Ward Save was not enough. I didn't get to use my Gromwell Great Helm against it. So, and then the Cave Squig pursued off the board. So he's going to come back on next turn. Over here, the Squigs killed off the last knight, overran into one of my bombards, and these 3 squig hoppers charged into the brigands that were there and killed all of them and ran them down. I'm not sure. And there's still a furtive Gork roaming around. So things were not looking good for the Bretonnians at this point. He had a unit in my back line, and my main combat threat was done. I thought that I sort of just wanted to see how the yeoman would do in combat, so I started pushing them forward to see if they could get into combat with the brick of night goblins. And I felt like if he was starting to shoot at them with the bolt throwers, which when they were 5 ranks deep, it was killing 3 or 4 a turn if you hit with a bolt thrower. But anyways, I think this is the same. Yeah, not much happened. I started taking shots at his. Oh, I did. So I killed the. I started to try and line up shots through his. I think this was his BSB on the corner. So through his BSB and into the Doom Diver, and I've killed off the Doom Diver. The arch units killed off the little unit of Squig Hoppers, and that was about it. So the Squig Hopper unit, I think, go back one. They munched through the cannon, then they ran off the board. Yeah, maybe I missed the turn, but they came back on. So they came back on, and then I managed to move my archers around a bit to shoot at them. The cannon fired grape shot into them. The wizard cast fireball into them off the ruby ring and got 12 hits. So we managed to wipe them out, just like to the wound, which was good because the game was going to be really over if that didn't happen. My yeoman decided that this yeoman guard decided that this was not a good fight, especially because this unit still had all 3 of its fanatics in. So they turned around and started heading towards. They thought maybe they could fight a single troll or a cave squig, and yeah, so that was that turn. But yeah, I mean, basically we're just sort of playing the game out for fun at this point. The Squig Hopper made its charge in. I didn't do a challenge initially, which was probably a mistake, and the Squig basically, I think, killed. I had Itchy Nuisance and Evil. He had Evil Sun, I think, and Itchy Nuisance had Bad Mood. So again, I was minus D3 to Ballistic Skill, to Weapon Skill, Toughness, and Initiative. So the Squig and the Rider I think they killed 7 guys, leaving me my Paladin BSB and the Standard Bearer. So I gave ground and fell back in good order. That fight kept going. I challenged, so then in my turn, I challenged with the BSB, and the Squig, I think, got 2 killing blows on him and ate him. So that was the end of that. My one unit of Foot Knights just sort of kept pushing forward, and I started trying to snipe his level 4 with my cannon by picking the point, and I did actually manage to do it. He failed his Lookout Sir, and then I rolled a 1 on the wound roll. So karma for trying to snipe characters with cannons. It shouldn't be allowed. The Squig finished off that unit. This is basically, I had left my wizard, the 2 archer units, and a cannon. Everyone else had been destroyed by that point. And my opponent had, all his characters still. I killed off all the Squigs, but he still had 2 big bricks of Night Goblins. So, yeah, the thought was to try and do a more infantry-heavy army. I feel like Yeoman Guard and Foot Knights with Stubborn from the Exile's Vow are some of the better melee infantry in the game. They're actually pretty efficient for their points. And then I thought shooting a bit of a gun line would help force the opponent to engage them. And same with the unit of Pegasuses with the characters, like they're flying around and they're a threat, so, and they can avoid, I mean, that's the other thing, they can avoid their points being taken from them. So if he wants to come in and get the surefire points, it means trying to engage into combat, trying to come forward and engage into combat. If it's a combat army, if it's a shooting army, they can outshoot mine, which this Night Goblin army probably can. So it's sort of close. It depends on how the cannons roll, I guess, and how the bolt throwers do, but yeah, I don't know. It's not It's certainly not a top tier competitive build. The Exiles leaning heavily on foot units. I think, yeah, with units of Pegasus Knights, it's probably pretty good, and maybe you smatter in some shooting just for fun. But yeah, it was fun to try. I think I'm now once again going to back off Bretonnians and maybe keep trying the vampire counts or go all the way back to high elves. We'll see. You never know what army I'm going to play. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope I'll see you again next time. Thank you.